Today's Liverpool news brings 4 big updates. Fabrizio Romano drops a massive early morning update that's shaken Anfield. Huge news on Trent Alexander-Arnold's contract. Liverpool have received a clear message. Alexander Isak's transfer sparks fresh controversy after a manager's fiery comment. And Virgil van Dijk sends a strong message about how the Reds can find their consistency again. Now let's hear the details. Fabrizio Romano relays early morning update that'll have Liverpool fans on red alert. Ibrahima Konate has still yet to commit his future to Liverpool Football Club ahead of his contract expiring in 2026. This comes amid reported interest from Real Madrid in the French international. It's understood that the Spanish giants are also keeping a close eye on a similar situation transpiring in Munich with Bayern's Dayot Upamecano. Dayot Upamecano contract talks will impact Ibrahima Konate. Xabi Alonso's men have, realistically, already missed out on the prospect of landing Arsenal talisman William Saliba next summer. The Gunners' star recently put pen to paper on a new long-term contract, until 2030, which will surely place further emphasis on Los Blancos' 2 other alternative targets. However, the pressure could yet be about to ramp up with regard to Real Madrid's pursuit of Konate, judging by Bayern executive Herbert Haner's latest comments. Fabrizio Romano relayed the Munich CEF's confirmation on X, formerly Twitter, that talks remain ongoing regarding a contract renewal for Upamecano. Liverpool must plan for Real Madrid to go full throttle. There's a possibility that Bayern Munich will follow in Arsenal's footsteps in managing to keep hold of one of their top defensive assets. Meanwhile, the La Liga leaders are considered likely to part ways with both David Alaba and Antonio Rudiger. In which case, Madrid will almost certainly push even harder to try and land Konate on a free next summer. With Giovanni Leone sidelined for around a year, Liverpool face the prospect of being practically down to 2 senior centre-backs come the start of 2026-27. If we're being realistic about where that leaves our recruitment team, signing 2 new centre-backs will be a must. Ideally, one of those should come in the January transfer window, with Marc Guéhi perhaps arriving later in the summer. Trent Alexander-Arnold agreement reached as Liverpool sent clear message. Gary Lineker has echoed comments made by Jamie Redknapp about Liverpool missing Trent Alexander-Arnold this season. The Reds sold the right-back to Real Madrid at the start of the summer transfer window, putting an end to months of intense speculation. Alexander-Arnold was set to leave Liverpool on a free transfer, but an agreement was reached with Real for the defender to depart ahead of his deal expiring in time to participate in the FIFA Club World Cup. The Reds went on to replace Alexander-Arnold with the signing of Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen, while right-back Connor Bradley is also still at the club. Saturday saw Liverpool lose 2-1 to Chelsea in the Premier League, which was their 3rd consecutive defeat across all competitions. Speaking on the Rest is Football podcast, Lineker believes the Reds are missing Alexander-Arnold's influence in attack this season. In terms of creativity, as much as anything else, I think they're really missing Trent Alexander-Arnold, said Lineker. Before that, sometimes Trent would go forward and they would, perhaps, get exposed defensively. But what he gives you going the other way, it's impossible to replace. There is not another player I can think of in world football who plays that position, right back, in the way that he plays it offensively. I also think that Mo Salah is missing him, that connection that they had. Yes, sometimes they would get exposed in behind, but they would have someone try and cover that position. Last season it was mostly Dominic Szoboszlai, previous to that would be Jordan Henderson. You've got to say it was worth his weight in gold going forward, and I always used to say, stop worrying about him, Alexander-Arnold, making the odd tiny mistake defensively, because what he gives you the other way is incredible. Lineker's comments echo remarks made by Redknapp over the weekend, where the former Liverpool star also believes his old club have issues at right back. Redknapp explained how Alexander-Arnold's absence has created problems for head coach Arne Slot this season. They've got problems at fullback. They're missing Trent Alexander-Arnold, Redknapp told Sky Sports on Saturday. They haven't played the same right back since the Burnley game. Connor Bradley had a tough 45 minutes. Milos Kerkez hasn't quite adapted either. The pressure of playing for Bournemouth isn't the same. They have problems all over the pitch, but especially at fullback with Andy Robertson's injury at the end. This international break could be a good chance to reset. Alexander Isak plan revealed as manager fires dig at Newcastle after Liverpool transfer. Sweden manager Jon Dahl Tomasson has fired a subtle dig at Newcastle United as he praised Liverpool for their handling of Alexander Isak. The striker joined the Reds in a British record £125 million move on transfer deadline day, having essentially gone on strike at St James Park in order to force through a Magpies exit. The player did not feature at all for Newcastle throughout pre-season, as he trained alone for the majority. As a result, he went nearly 4 months without playing before making his return for Sweden during the September international break. Isak was left unused for his nation's World Cup qualifier against Slovenia, before featuring as a 72nd-minute substitute in their 2-0 defeat to Kosovo. Since then, he has made 6 appearances for Liverpool, with 4 of those coming from the start, but with the Reds managing his minutes carefully, Isak has featured 312 minutes and returned 1 goal and 1 assist. The striker admitted that he is still building his way back up following his disjointed summer when speaking after Liverpool's loss to Chelsea. But he is set for further game time during the October international break after being included in the Sweden squad to face Switzerland and Kosovo in their latest World Cup qualifiers. Tomasson has admitted he does not yet know whether or not Isak will be fit enough to complete a full 90 minutes for Sweden during the break, but insists the striker has made good progress in comparison to his last international call-up. "I don't know, to be honest, as he hasn't played 90 minutes yet," he said. "But one thing I know is that he looks better than a month ago, which is normal." He also made an excellent assist this weekend, against Chelsea. "I don't know if it's a long way until he is back to his best, but we're getting closer, as you need 6 weeks in a pre-season. First you play 45 minutes, then 60 minutes, 75 minutes and 90 minutes. Then you need another 3 weeks to be at your best. That's normal. Whether it will be 90 minutes also depends on the matches, so I can't give a good answer about that. We need to look at the players individually and we get data from the clubs regarding what the players can do physically and whether they can play 90 minutes or not twice. I think Alexander is a good example in terms of how Liverpool have handled him in an excellent way. Normally, you need a 6-week preseason and then another 3 weeks to really be at your best. He has his own preseason and plays competitive games. It's a tough way to get fit, but they've handled it well. I think he has done very well. When you come to a new club, it is normal that it can take time to interact with the new teammates. He is doing his preseason with competitive matches and I think he and Liverpool have handled it very well. If you look at the way he plays, the way he moves is top class. I still think he is very good." Meanwhile, Tomasson also fired a dig at Newcastle, who he played for himself during his own playing days, as he pointed out how their contrasting treatment of Jon Wissa in comparison to Isak came back to bite. The DR Congo international joined the Magpies in a £55 million deal from Brentford on transfer deadline as one of 2 replacements for Isak, having also endured a disjointed summer as he too looked to force through a transfer. But the 29-year-old is yet to play for his new club, having picked up a knee injury during the September international break, and is not expected to return until November. "We can't change the situation with Isak," Tomasson said. "I'm just happy that Liverpool are doing the same thing I would have done. You can see what Newcastle did with Jon Wissa, who came in instead of Isak. He played international matches with Congo straight away and is now injured. He is still injured. That's also a reason why we couldn't play him so much last month. We need a good Isak this month and next month. That's how we plan, while Liverpool have done really well." Virgil van Dijk, "Work is the basis to finding our consistency again." "Work is the basis," said Virgil van Dijk as he dissected how Liverpool can return to positive form when they are back on the pitch after the international break. A stoppage-time goal saw the Reds fall to a 2-1 defeat against Chelsea in the Premier League on Saturday evening. That result made for a rare case of the champions having lost 3 times in a row, with the late disappointment at Stamford Bridge coming on the back of defeats by Crystal Palace and Galatasaray. Van Dijk is confident Arne Slot's men can rediscover the levels that gained them the title last term, but stressed that turnaround can only be achieved through work, focus, and togetherness. "It is not that easy," the captain said of what might explain Liverpool's recent setbacks. "Obviously, new players adjusting plays a part as well, but that shouldn't be the only focus. It is a combination of everything. It is down to us to work to turn this around and find consistency, to not concede goals, to score goals, to create, to not give up chances against us. How we work, it happened all season last year, and everything was positive and everyone was happy, and now we have a little blip, if you want to call it like that, and now we need everyone more than ever to support us and be there for us. Every 3 or 4 days is another opportunity, after the international break now, to find that momentum and consistency, and keep it. I've been at the club for such a long time, there have been many difficult situations and we got out of them. It's not for everyone to just accept it and move on, but the only thing we can do is focus on the next opportunity we have and work on it. Obviously now everyone goes to different countries and everyone has the responsibility to try to stay fit and do well. But when we come back, we have a very big game against Manchester United, where I am already very much looking forward to it. It's an opportunity again to show what we have been showing last year throughout the whole season. That is the reason we became champions and made so many people around the world happy. Now we need the chance to get to that point again, and work is the basis to it, finding consistency and sticking together.